The Wednesday week is sponsored by Oddballs, a speciality. Go to www.oddballsaspeciality.com.
Chance here, a great save. A turn up from McClare. Mike Cummings. A terrific goal by Sheridan.
Brentford against Jones. Get in.
You could have two goalkeepers in there that would have trouble with saving that.
The Wednesday week! Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the Wednesday week, the Sheffield Wednesday podcast. I'm Lord Hillsborough, and just for the moment, I'm all on my own, I'm afraid. We've had a little bit of an issue with the podcast this week, and we had a corrupted file. Dun, dun, dun. We've managed to uncorrupt the vast majority of it, but we have lost the beginning of the show. So we're going to join everybody, just about to speak about the Newcastle game, and enjoy.
Where do you start with that? Do you know what? It's been over a week now since we played Newcastle, and the only thing I can remember from it, because like I said, it's been a long couple of weeks working in the nightclub industry. I've had the freshers in, and the only thing I can remember is Sergio Bus missing that sitter.
It's got to go down as probably like miss of the decade, hasn't it? That it was terrible. I was at the game. We were on our feet. We were celebrating, and someone had to point out the fact that it hadn't actually gone in.
Fact is, good old Sheffield Wednesday pop off to a Premiership club, and quite simply give them a bit of a tonking. I mean, is it that we were particularly good, or that Newcastle were particularly bad?
Let's not go overboard on the idea that this is a Premiership club, because they are technically, but only technically. You know, the worst periods of watching Wednesday were when things used to happen, like shots went out for throw-ins and every goal kick found the south stand before it found the halfway line. That's how Newcastle played.
But then we got rid of Jermaine Johnson and it was all okay.
No, but absolutely, effectively, Newcastle were playing with 11 JJs. And the one in the net was actually the best one. It was, for them, an abject performance. It looked, to all intents and purposes, like we were the Premier League side who would put our reserve side out for an easy cup game, and they were a struggling League One team, not even a top Championship team like Sheffield Wednesday are, a struggling League One team who had no idea what they were doing. It was almost embarrassing. So, yes, it was a great victory. I took more pleasure out of Saturday's victory than I did out of Wednesday's victory. But hey, you know what? It was great to be there, and it was a great atmosphere.
We played well though, didn't we? Let's not take anything away from those 11 guys out there on the pitch, because I've got to confess that I missed the first 25 minutes of the game due to a flat tyre on the A1, which was fun. So got there 25 minutes through the game. Although from what I can gather, I missed like the crappiest 25 minutes.
James, was that in the Wenger bus? Was that
pretty
in
much? No. That was in the Merc, darling, in the Merc.
Oh.
From when I got there, we seemed to. It's not my Merc, by the way. We seemed to control the game, and I thought we were well on top, well in control.
I must admit, after all the to and fro, it was nice to see the Goo go back in the team, don't you think?
Yeah, he ran the show, didn't he? Yeah, at the end of the day, he proved how classy he was, and it wasn't a great opposition. They let him play. They let all of the team play, but McGugan. It's really difficult because we've got such an embarrassment of riches in midfield at the moment. I can't honestly say, does he deserve to go back into the team on Wednesday's performance against the performance that we put in on Saturday? I don't know. But it was great to see him, and a great goal.
Can I ask Vic and Eddie if they now want to issue a formal apology for Stripegate?
We were very high up. I couldn't even tell what that kit looked like from where we were.
Oh, here we go. Christ's sake. Yes, all right. I was laid down. I was the wrong angle to be looking at the photo.
What were you doing? Were you doing yoga or something, or giving birth?
Can you imagine me doing yoga?
No, I can't. That's what I'm asking.
I was just a little bit thick that night, and I think I was a bit carried away, and I thought a little bit too negatively. I can't believe that I thought negatively,
Not
but
at all.
I did. Hand on heart, I was wrong about the kit. The amount of tweets I've had about that, go over it. My version would have been a bit more exciting.
Special mention to Joe Wildsmith. Didn't have a great deal to do, but it's another clean sheet, another cracking game too. And really, the main thing here that's come out of this entire thing is we've now got the visit of Arsenal to Hillsborough.
Ooh.
Revenge time. My life's been a misery since 1993, and now we're going to put it right.
Yeah, I think Arsenal's one of those teams that we always seem to have a good old ding-dong with. I genuinely enjoy playing Arsenal, but I can't think of a time we've really played them since we've been terrible, and that they've still been, Arsenal. So, I mean, there was 1993, obviously. There was September the 26th. Actually, it was his anniversary the other day of Paolo Di Canio pushing Paul Alcock over. And
Lee Briscoe's goal.
Lee Briscoe's goal.
Lee Briscoe's goal.
I don't know what sticks out in my memory most about that event. You've got, obviously, Paolo and the referee. You've got Lee Briscoe's goal. You've got Patrick Vieira getting up and slapping Petterudi, which seemed to go completely unnoticed by the referee, which I'm guessing what Paolo Di Canio was remonstrating about. And also, my favourite bit about it is when Paolo Di Canio goes to wipe the blood off his nose and Winterburn kind of bobs out the way as though he was going to slap him. I kind of like that's one of my favourite bits of football folklore. But yeah, we have some great tear-ups with Arsenal, and I don't know if anybody played football stroke championship manager back in the late 90s when the data editor first launched, and you used to have to write in who your big rivals were, and we used to have obviously it's broken up 100%, and we used to 5% hate Arsenal, and apparently they're one of our rivals, and it's ingrained into Champ and Football Manager, so it's got to be true.
I think most Arsenal fans do still hate us, don't they? They really care about those matches.
See, I don't know if they do, Eddie, because bear in mind, you've got the.
I was being sarcastic.
All right, I had a big point there, and all because you've got how we in the World Cup, so we have this big thing with Germany, where it's like, the Germans this and the Germans that. They don't give a toss about us. It's all about the Dutch for them, isn't it? You know what I mean? And I think that's what they've got. Because I think Arsenal just genuinely don't care.
Today, the ticket prices have been announced. They are, of course, on general sale. And to me, Sheffield Wednesday have got this absolutely bang on the pricing for this one, because Hillsborough is going to be rocking for it, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm beginning to come to the conclusion that there are people that it doesn't matter what the ticket prices are. It's just a good excuse to have a moan. Because there's been people kicking off left, right and centre about it. And
what,
it's
Yorkshire
so
people having
now.
a moan? Yorkshire folk having a moan
boring.
for no reason? I'm not having that.
I always knew that they hated other people, but I never knew that they hated each other so much.
At least they never put their dick in a pig.
Absolutely. We've got
Topical, Ed.
political on the Wednesday.
Bit of politics there.
Ben Elton there sat in the corner.
But no, basically it was a wonderful time had by all. The Wednesday nights up there, obviously James, Eddie, that travelled up there as well. They were incredible, weren't they? Was there any ceasing singing the whole way through?
The atmosphere was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, it is quite high up, and I know, Vic, you did warn us before we went about how many flights of stairs there is.
Did you wear sensible shoes?
But what I say is that when you get there 25 minutes late and you run up those stairs, it's a lot more tiring. So it doesn't really matter what stairs you wear. But honestly, the fans were absolutely terrific. And that ground, even though you are kind of where you are, kind of the noise reverberates really well. And the atmosphere was just fantastic.
Obviously, all that's gone to bed. We'll look forward to Arsenal. But we did have another rather exciting game on Saturday as well, didn't we, ladies and gents? Obviously, travelled down to Brentford. And it were a really interesting one, this for me as well.
Bit of a contrast, wasn't it? So from being up effectively a mile in the sky at St James's Park to being on what amounts to, remember on Sports Day where you used to take your own chairs out to sit next to the running track. Effectively, that's what Brentford's away end is. But you know what? If anything, the atmosphere was even better. It was unbelievable. Everyone was really up for it. And I don't think, we'll remember the Brentford games over history for various different things, the playoff semi-final and us getting to Cardiff. We'll remember, obviously, Lera's goal, etc. This game will be remembered.
Lloyd Owusu.
Right, and Lloyd Owusu racing the room.
And Lloyd.
This game will not be remembered for the fact that we won it, even though we did win it and it was a good game, and we can talk about it plenty. This game will be remembered for only one thing, and that was the day that the Carlos Had a Dream song caught on fire, which will be, mark my words, just as big as Hi Ho Sheffield Wednesday.
Song
Can
of the
I just
season,
ask,
isn't it?
the guys that went, James, Edward, can we have a relap of that song?
Yeah,
Because
can you sing it out for us?
I've read the lyrics, I've heard it on YouTube, but I can really hear the lyrics. I need a proper version.
All right, are you up for this, Eddie?
I'm ready, baby.
All right, you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to face the music.
Carlos had a dream to build a football team. We had no players, so we went and we signed them on loan. We built from the back with Joe in attack. We're Sheffield Wednesday. We're on our way
Well
back.
done, old boy.
Do-do, do-do, do-do.
Hang on a
Repeat
minute.
ad infinitum.
Wait a minute. After all the conversations we've had on this show, they never sing the word Jow and pronounce the J, do they?
Oh, no, that's
Oh, is he
exactly
gonna
how
do
it
it
is
again?
pronounced.
Jow? Yeah.
Jow.
Jow,
Surely
it's Portuguese,
Jow.
you pronounce the J.
Solid J-O-W.
The
Jow.
European correspondent
Jow.
is back, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Wow. All right, I'm gonna have to look that
the
up.
Michael Jackson. Ow!
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
So, of course, I mean, Eddie, you're quite right. That song has been stuck in my head all week. I've caught myself singing it on the throne, the bathroom throne, of course. I've caught myself singing it whilst outloading. I've caught myself singing it everywhere. It's just so incredibly annoying, but fantastic all at the same time.
It is. It was brilliant, and I've never known a group of fans that sing all the way through half time before. I remember Leeds used to all kind of take the shirts off and swing them around the head for the whole of half time. But honestly, from the minute the half time whistle blew to the second half starting, we did not stop singing that song, which is just as well because they don't sell beer at half time at Brentford, so there was nothing else to do.
Not again.
Yeah, it was.
Can I
it
just
was-
say,
it was
James,
poor.
my favourite video of the weekend was you dancing around to that song.
I've not seen it. Where
You were
was
having
that?
the best time of your life. One of your friends shared it.
Oh,
Tom,
you
I
need
think
to
it
send me
was.
that.
It's brilliant.
I've
It's
not
brilliant.
seen it.
You were loving it. It like goes through loads of blokes just like dancing around, like having it
Right.
large, and you're just there like, yeah, Carlos.
I've got to. I don't remember a great deal about Brentford. I'm not gonna. Do you want my story of Brentford now?
Yeah,
Because-
give us a story, James, because you were
I
rubbing
can't-
shoulders with the stars.
Right, I'm not going to lie about it. Brentford has a lot of pubs, and for that reason and that reason alone, I can't really give any kind of insight into the game. So what I decided is that I would delegate it. So I realised after the game, I thought, I was pretty drunk through that game. You know when you drink yourself sober, and I thought I need to kind of find a way of giving some sort of insight into the game. So I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll delegate it. So I'll pop outside the pub. I'll just grab someone, record their take on the match. And then play that instead. So that's what I did. So I popped outside the pub. I bumped into a lovely young man whose name was David. Hang on, Garrido. He works
Friend of the
for-
show.
He works for a
Legend.
company. I wrote this down. Hang on, called Sky Sports.
Absolute one, old boy.
would you like his thoughts on the game?
Yes, please.
All right, here we go.
I thought we were fortunate to get 3 points. Carlos Carvalhal has admitted as much himself. He said, we were lucky. But do you know what? We perhaps could have got more out of the games at Burnley and Bolton. We got 1 point out of the possible 6 there. So, it goes around. And look, the point was, despite what I think is a harsh red card on the Brentford defender that brought down Nuhiu, we played well first half, and then when we got that opportunity, whether we deserved it or not, when Lucas Shaw went through on goal, thank goodness he stuck it away, because had he not, I would have worried for the kid. I really would have done in terms of his overall confidence. He needs that, and I'm so glad that he got it, and almost threw up afterwards because I was so nervous and so exhausted and so emotional with it all. So,
but you're very good at being like a fair football fan. As a Wednesday fan, did we deserve that win?
No, I don't think so. Look, I think it was probably a point apiece was fair. I think that Yeteland deserved to get sent off. Like I said, I don't think the Brentford defender deserved to get sent off. But we did play well first half, and then whereas I thought the red card might ruin the game, it actually made the game, because Brentford then came back at the second half and we couldn't play against 10 men. So then that made it a more enthralling, compelling contest. But do I think that we should have walked away with 3 points today? No. But is football fair? No. So, that's how it is. We got 3 wins in a week. Let's hope we can make it 4 against Preston.
How did Natalie feel about it?
It's funny because Natalie, as you probably know, has a 5-year-old son called Sawyer, and he was with us for the game, and she was with him the whole time, and we were chatting away, and then as the game wore on, she got more and more engrossed by it, and then Sawyer sort of just took a back seat. Only her son. Anyway, then of course, the chances came and went for Brentford, and she was just getting frantic. And then when we went through and scored, I think actually the one thing that really annoyed Natalie the most was when a Brentford player went down to the box and Jack Hunt literally grabbed him by the shirt and yanked him up, and she was like, "Oh, he should at least get a booking for that. That's violent. That's violent." And maybe she's got a point. So I think her mood certainly worsened, but look, we'll get over it. We're back on air on Monday, so we're going to have to.
I've got to ask you this, after seeing what you've seen today, what do you expect for Wednesday this season?
Do you know what? I think we're improving. Sometimes you go through phases of a season where you're playing well, you're not getting much out of it, and then you have a slight off day, or a 45 minutes when you're not playing that well, and it's a bit attritional, it's very stop-start, refs blowing up for practically everything, and then you get a 2-1 win. And I think, do you know what, we're due that right now, and I think it's great that we've got Preston next. I really think that we can motor on and get more. It gives me confidence going forward. It gives me that real belief that Carlos has now got a settled strategy and also a settled side, more or less. I think when Forestieri comes back, he will slot in where Matthias played today, and I think that will be pretty much close to our starting 11. I think we're pretty much there. I'm not sure there's anyone else who can come in to disrupt that. I think Bannon's been sensational. Kieran Lee, as always, is consistently delivering. We talked about this on the Wednesday Week podcast. He's one of my favourite players, just always up there. Solid 7.5, 8 out of 10 every week, Kieran Lee. Even if he's off it, he's good. So I think we're getting there. We're starting to really find our feet. Let's hope we can pair that with some momentum and then go and flirt with those playoffs again.
Good answer. And finally, last question. Who's your favourite Wednesday Week podcaster?
Oh my goodness. It changes by the week, James. I would say,
no,
it's hard.
That's not a answer.
Okay, look. Obviously, I know Victoria. So, I've got a soft spot for Vic and her myriad of pets.
Hey,
however,
female, that's not a good answer.
However, seeing as you've made the trip all the way down to Brentford, I'm going to have to say Lord Hillsborough. Sorry, mate.
That was a seasoned national radio professional being interviewed by, Oliver Reed. That was like the Terry Wogan interview just turned on its head.
All right, okay. Look, you may have noticed I was a little bit tipsy during that chat. The problem, we got to Brentford, we got to London quite early. We were on the train for 2 hours. We were drinking on the train. We were drinking as soon as we got to London. And Brentford is not a good place to go if you like a drink, because there's so many options. You get thrown out of a pub. There's another one next to it. It's just non-stop. I would point out David Garrido was brilliant. He met us before the game. We had a few drinks. He met us after the game. The best thing after the game was we let him know which pub we were in, and he turned up with a packet of hobnobs, which is the most random thing that's ever happened.
Oh, I love him.
Fantastic. I've got to say, I am a little concerned that David may never speak to me again.
Because, come on, he was our best showbiz pal.
Right, okay, this is what happened. We had a lot of drinks, and at some point, everyone went their own way.
Ladies and gents, we've got a bit of a surprise impromptu guest that's just appeared on my screen. No, not that kind of guest. It's David Garrido. He's appeared. Hello there, David, old chap.
I just couldn't stay away, Your Lordship. After the first appearance, I just enjoyed it so much. I've been trying to find ways to get back on.
Have your ears been burning?
A little bit, yeah. You know when someone walks over your grave and you get that little shiver, and that kind of thing. Yeah, that's all been
James
happening. I
has
just
that
thought,
effect.
it's a sign. I've got to make the call. It's just like seeing the Batman signal in the sky.
So, of course, David,
that's how
you
it
were doing
feels.
some charity work last Saturday, and you managed to go down and visit some of the poor Northerners that came down. One of those was, of course, our very own James Marriott, and a good time was had by all. Now, James, would you like to take over the story from this point and explain yourself, oh boy?
So the last thing that I remember, David, is you arriving at the pub with a packet of hobnobs, which were very nice. Thank you for that, because it was all. I think all of us. That's all we did all day.
You had my penultimate hobnob.
Oh no!
I did offer
James.
you my last one in a kind of
James, you
Rolo
slag.
kind of way, but.
So I don't remember that, so it probably didn't happen. Anyway, at some point in the evening, we went our separate ways, and I decided to walk back to my hotel, which is quite a long walk, and it wasn't the most successful of walks because I fell over a few times, shall we say, and fell off a wall. Now, all I know is that
Good work. Well done, you.
I did my best Humpty Dumpty impression. At some point in among all this, in my pocket, I managed to ring you.
Right.
So I've got this horrible fear that you have a 5-minute voicemail of me making various kind of grunting noises. And
David, please find it. Please.
You did actually. You didn't. I mean, let's tell the truth here, James. I mean, you didn't pocket dial me. You drank and dialed, and you
drunk dialed David Greedo.
And listen,
I genuinely enjoy that.
I've had this effect on men and women before, so it's nothing to be ashamed of.
No,
I think you should just be open with the podcast listeners and tell them what this is really about. Come on. We
Thank
shared
God.
some really good moments on Brentford.
Garrido, thank God you gave him the wrong number. There's some poor old woman who actually got drunk dialed by Marriott.
Can you imagine?
Saturday evening, has no idea what it is all about.
It's early doors Saturday. She's sitting down to watch Anton Saturday Night Takeaway, and James rings up going, what are you doing? What are you up to? We're going there. Come on, what do you want to do? I love that.
Get out of my way. We won the match. Get out of my way. We won.
I tell you what, actually, David, we do need to mention as well that James did actually say that you drank him under the table, that you were matching him pint for pint, and James, you ended up going home having enjoyed a lovely hobnob-based evening, and James ended up falling to local DC Cooks. You know what I mean?
I do very well nursing drinks. I'm one of those who, I can kind of seem like I'm keeping pace with you, but actually I'm about 4 drinks behind, but you just don't know it. Partly because you are drinking that much, and I just thought I'd just kind of like see how it went. And I got to a stage when basically, because there was a bunch of us there, including a guy that I brought along as well, Andy Parsons, who's a Wednesday fan. He comes to a lot of away games and stuff. And I think we both got to that point, me and Andy, where we said, no one's making sense, but they are spitting over us quite a lot.
David,
shall we go?
This is going to make my day.
The hobnobs and we'll go. So that's what
amazing.
happened.
This is going to make my day. Did you notice that one of James's friends, when he speaks to you, spits on you and stands very close to you?
That's all I noticed. I bet I got a notice of what he was actually saying.
Dear. Oh, dear me. Well,
so roll on Fulham, basically. Fulham away on the 2nd of January. Let's do it all over again.
Yes.
The good news is, David, that you never have to speak to any of us again after Saturday.
Yeah. I think what I should do, though, every time is just bring a different biscuit. Like, last time...
Garibaldi's for Fulham.
Yeah, maybe Garibaldi's. I was thinking like maybe a cheeky ginger nut, something like that. Yeah.
Biscuit chat
with
David Garrido.
A wonderful public persona, and then he got dragged into our nonsense. David, I can do nothing but apologise. Oh boy. I assume that you have changed your telephone number since that. Let's be on the safe side.
Wouldn't dream of it. Don't you worry.
And just before you go, I just want to say sorry for everything.
Apology accepted. And
just don't do it
listen,
again.
not a problem. But I do have serious ammo on you. You realise that? I have got so much ammo on you right now. the stuff that hasn't been mentioned in this podcast will probably come to bear at some point. I'm going to choose that moment very carefully in the future, James.
I tell you what, now this voicemail has now become like Human Centipede 2. Something that I wasn't particularly bothered about listening to, and now it's something I have to see.
Ladies and gentlemen, friend of the show, David Gilreader. Oh no. Jeeves, we're going to need some more equipment.
Then you need to speak to Oddballs, a speciality.
What the?
Oddballs, a speciality deal in steel, food, and engineering equipment.
Where's that voice coming from?
We offer great deals on all types of equipment and can include dismantling, delivery, and erection anywhere in the world.
Did he just say erection?
We can also buy your surplus equipment or sell it on commission. With over 30 years' experience, let us achieve the best deal for you.
Where can I find out more, Voice in the Sky?
Go to www.oddballsaspeciality.com.
You heard him, folks. Jeeves, get a broom.
I made another friend as well in Brentford while we were there. A lovely guy called Billy the Bee. Who is part of Besotted, the Brentford podcast. I don't know if you watched any of the videos. He does quite a lot of videoing, so there's various videos knocking about on their website. He was a really good guy. I got his take on the game as well, if you want to have a listen to that.
Disappointing, I think, is the way that I see it and most Brentford fans see it. Difficult for us because obviously, we've got a lot of changes this season. We've got a new manager, we've got a load of new players, and we're still trying to find our feet to a certain extent, and we need to get results under the belt. And today, we went behind against an early goal, against, a stupid goal. We think, player gets sent off, got the penalty, nothing we can do against it. We might have been slightly on top, or we might have been doing all right up until that time, but then after we gave away that goal. Under the cosh, second half we came out 10 men, and we really took the game to Wednesday, and they were rocking. You were rocking big time, and we thought, we're going to do this. We got the goal back, brilliant goal. Goalkeeper, cross-field ball to Alan Judge, takes it out, whacks it at the back of the net, brilliant, and we were really on top of that stage. And again, it's one of those things where we were going for the win, but unfortunate, you played direct ball over the top. Our young centre-back who was put into the game today didn't handle it. Ball came off his back. Your man gets the ball, easy goal, and we lose the points.
What did you think about the Sheffield Wednesday performance? What do you think of our team?
I think you were obviously buzzing off the back of the win on Tuesday night. So you can see you were buzzing around. In the first half as well, you had a couple of good chances where we've had a problem with our defence at sometimes because we don't pick up players, and you were getting headers in there. You had a couple of chances where, is it Nuhu was getting in there, had a couple of headers in, goalkeeper saves them, no problem at all. But so you were buzzing around doing your thing as an away team would do. As the game went on, you started to become a little bit more physical, let's just say. Maybe a cynical, that's the way that you have to play, where you're sitting down there and you're fouling us in particular areas, from stopping us from doing our play, because Brentford are known for playing good football, passing the ball around, so you were doing that. And it got to the stage where it was actually getting a little bit annoying, where you did get a few yellow cards, and you obviously got a red card as well. So, but fair play to you, because you stuck at it, and obviously you've got more experience in just doing that, and you played the ball up there, and you played it into the area, which is probably a bit of an Achilles heel for us. Ball over the top, player didn't get the ball, you scored the goal, and at the end of the day you got the 3 points.
Was that a fair representation of what Brentford performance is going to be like this season?
It's difficult because, like I said, we've got so many players out. I mean, we've got internationals who are coming into our team and they're out. So, like our young right back who played very well, Josh Clark, who is coming down the wing. I mean, he's a development player, but he's come in, he was given his chance again, like today. He played his first game against Preston, I think it was, last week. He made a mistake in the first minute, 35th second. Made a mistake. They scored a goal. We thought, we've got a young player and he's made a mistake. But after that, he just came into himself and he was brilliant. Again, today he was nervous in the first 5 minutes, but he came into himself and he caused you quite a lot of problems. So, for us, we see plus sides in the fact that, okay, we've had players who probably wouldn't even see the light of day have been given the chance to play. So, talking about our style of football is that, the football that we played like last season was bang, bang, up and down, passing the ball just like a whirlwind. Played really, really exciting football. We're still trying to find our feet, but you can see that we're trying to play football and trying to play a good game. And all I can say is that when our players come back into the side, and some of these players will actually go onto the bench, because some of these players are substitute players, hopefully you're actually going to see the real Brentford. So a lot of fans are still thinking, I ain't too worried yet.
And what did you make of the Wednesday fans today?
Wednesday fans did enjoy themselves. I saw Tango over in the corner there, close off as per usual, doing his thing. Yeah, you had a laugh. And at the end of the day, it's like, we don't want people to come to Brentford and enjoy themselves and take 3 points. We're quite happy for you to come down here, enjoy yourself, and then we take the 3 points, you go back home and everything like that. So it didn't quite work out according to plan. But like I said, everyone that comes to Brentford seems to enjoy it as a day out, regardless of the result. And, you know, that's the way it is. You've got the result today, and so it's kind of added to your day. But we've had Preston, who came down there last week, who said it's their best away day by far. They love coming down here, you know, so that's what it's all about, really.
If I had to push you and say, where can you imagine Sheffield Wednesday finishing the season? Where would you say?
It's difficult, because I still think that you're sort of you're still working. You're still working your team, and you're still working on it, and in how you play and who's going to play and stuff. And you've got a lot of new players coming in, so it is quite hard. And you also play, you know, you play this sort of kind of, you're still quite physical. I see you playing the ball around, you're quite physical, but you've also got players that obviously can put the ball in the back of the net. If you start to click, you might get a little top 10 finish, maybe even pushing onto the playoffs. It's hard, but we were talking about this, and we were saying that no team at the moment now has really found its form in this division, other than probably Borough, who we played them, and they're decent, even though we should have got a draw against them away from home. But other than that, you know, Wolves I think lost today. I think Birmingham City lost today against Rotherham. You know, so no films really found a form. It's all a bit to and fro. So you may beat us today, then you might lose to Ipswich next week, or wherever it might be. I don't know. So it's really hard to say, probably until October or November, how teams are going to do. But I'd say if you're not in the top 10, you'll be disappointed, especially after last season.
So I think, all in all, I think we can take heart from the performance. I mean, we've had that done to us on a ridiculously large amount of occasions on there, where we've deserved something from a game and just quite simply not got it. Zhao's goal was incredible. Nuhu, in my humble opinion, had a cracking game again on there for us. And why on earth we still have Wednesday fans moaning about this, I do not understand. Clearly, he loves the club. He was unlucky with a couple of headers that he knocked in, and his general play, to me, absolutely bang on.
No, I would agree with what you said about Nuyu. He did have a really good game. I think the frustration with Nuyu comes from consistency, which is that he can play like that, and then he could the next game just be pretty non-existent. I'd also say that if a lot of people made a big deal about the fact that we didn't play brilliantly in the second half, Brentford aren't a bad team, and let's not forget that they're at the moment, you know, they're not doing brilliantly. They'll not be where they are now at the end of the season. Once they sort themselves out, they'll do all right. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you say, look, we can play well like we did at Burnley and at Bolton and not really get anything out of the game, or we can ride our luck a little bit and maybe not play brilliantly and win. And I don't really see why people would complain about that, because if you're talking about being at the top end of the Championship, you're going to have those games where you don't play well. But if you still win them, that's brilliant. That's nothing to worry about.
Absolutely. Right, so let's crack on then, ladies and gents. We've got quite a lot to get through. First things first, Ross Wallace has been shortlisted for the Championship Player of the Month. Do you think this is deserved?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Next thing. No, of course, he's had a belting game. Obviously, just recently, Kieran Lee has been voted Player of the Month by the Sheffield Wednesday fans. Again, another thing. There seems to be a nice little sort of running thing going between these two chaps at the moment. And I think it's really proving how the team is starting to, dare I say the word, gel, cohese. Personally, I am seeing shoots of everything sort of coming together. The only one thing I don't think is quite cohesion at the moment is Matthias.
Yeah. I think I said a few weeks ago I'm sort of reserving judgment a little bit on Matthias, because he seems to get himself into the right position sometimes, and I think that's partly because he doesn't really move from that particular position. He just kind of waits for the ball to get there. He's still, it's not quite fallen into place for him, has it? I think the rest of the team it has done. He had to play on Saturday because there's no foresty area, and he's probably the best of the options that we've got. It's one of those that's a little bit of a worry because we played a lot of money for him, and if we don't see enough potential in him, then I think we've got good reason to sort of worry a little bit about the amount that we paid for it.
Again, obviously not the same sort of money in any way, shape or form, but when we all saw Petnik originally, way back when, we were all quite excited about him as well. And obviously...
I wasn't. I thought Najik Petnik looked like a fat tubes from Soccer AM, and he...
As if there's another kind.
Yeah. I think it was. I think it was probably one of those. It was a stunt by Soccer AM to see if we could get Tube signed by some gullible football team. That's what it sounded like. But yeah, I think Matthias. He just might need time to. Oh Christ, let me word this right.
Well said.
Adapt to the English game. Not gel, not cohese. Adapting. He might still be adapting. Some take longer than others, and some moves turn out to be utter rubbish. I mean, there is a thing with footballers, isn't there, where you can go to one club, you can be outstanding, you get your big move, and your absolute toilet, and then after your toilet season, you'll go to another club, and you can all of a sudden set the world alight. Some moves work, some moves don't. Some systems work, some systems don't, and It might gel. It might not. Sorry, it might cohese. It might adapt. It might not.
He suffered, though, Anti, from the change in formation. It was clear that he was bought to be the guy on the flank of a front three, and we're not playing that anymore. So he's trying to be a square peg in a round hole.
As I do with all Wednesday players, I do hope he falls into this. We've seen glimpses, even at the Brentford game, there was one particular pass that came right over the top, and his first touch brought it down beautifully. Little touch on the knee, cracked it, belting save by Button, the Brentford keeper. So it is there, it's just not clicking, and I really wish it would. Right, so let's crack on, ladies and gents. The next thing on the agenda this evening, Joel Wildsmith. He's got himself an England call up for the under-20s. Fantastic.
Yeah, great news. Very well deserved as well. He's put in some great performances. We've said this, tons of times about the fact that it's almost a shame that we've got Kieran Westwood because Joe Wildsmith is always going to play second fiddle. But I think that's a really good thing. He's got someone that he can really learn from. We know that we've got a good setup when it comes to goalkeepers. He can learn his stuff. He's going to get some game time in some of the games, and that's brilliant. But the lad's done fantastically, and particularly because he's a Wednesday lad as well, just makes us so proud.
Next thing, we do have to quickly mention this, ladies and gents. Steve Evans has finally parted terms with Rotherham United. Now, of course, we don't give two chuffs about this. The reason I mention it is, I'm going to quite miss Steve Evans being in South Yorkshire because he was always good for a bit of a laugh, weren't he? Clearly, he had a massive amount of Wednesday envy on there. And his final thing sort of... interview, if you like, as he goes out the club, saying that he turned down the Wednesday job to go and manage Rotherham. I mean, good Lord.
Do you know what? Listen, I have a certain amount of respect for Steve Evans and for Neil Warnock because, and I'm gonna come in a different tack here to what we normally do with people like that. I think that they, when they're in a role like that, they play a character, and it's very clear of what they're doing, and their ability of winding other people up is absolutely second to none. Warnock is an absolute genius at it, and I, for one, like when the debate was circling around about him becoming our manager, I'd have took him. I really would, because I think I think the pair of them are very good at what they did. I think yesterday Sky Sports did a. I mean, when was the last time? I can't remember a manager getting sacked and being on television the day after. Apart, you see those videos of Brian Clough when he left Leeds. He was on telly that night. But Sky Sports did an interview with him. He was sat in his home in Peterborough talking away, and he was so humble, and he was actually genuinely everything stripped aside of him. There weren't any digs in about Wednesday. There weren't any digs in about United, and he just said, me and the chairman, we hugged it out. We had a tearful moment, and it was quite nice. And I thought, do you know what? All that crap, all those 3 years of us getting on his back and him being this big shouty Scotsman, do you know what I mean? Is just a persona that he puts on while he's in the hot seat of any club. He'll do it if he gets our job for whatever weird twist of fate. If he gets our job, if he gets the United job, he'd be exactly the same. And And I saw a different side of him yesterday. And do you know what? It was nice to see.
Remember when the $1 million man, Ted DiBiase, became a good guy? When he,
yeah, I remember.
You know, when he gave up his life of evil and horribleness, and he claimed that he'd seen the light and he'd become a good guy. I bet you cheered him. I bet you were happy to cheer the $1 million man, Ted DiBiase, weren't you, Fudge? Truth is, the $1 million man, Ted DiBiase, was always a complete bastard, and no matter what he said or did, he will always be a complete bastard.
So are you telling me you sat there watching Terminator 2 thinking, nah, sod this, I'm not buying this? He was different in the first one. We can all change it.
Oh, you can change. Well, I don't know. Until he put that thumb up as he went down into the molten lava. You know, tell you what, if we put Steve Evans in some molten lava and he puts a thumb up just as he goes...
Then he's all right by you.
Fine, exactly. Let's make it happen.
Do you know what? In all fairness, I don't think you can compare him to Warnock. I think Warnock is someone that's up there. As you know, as a United legend, fair enough. You know, he's done his bit. He's made them what they are. But I think he's a bit of a Sheffield legend.
Shit.
And I know it's controversial, but he is a genuine Sheffield guy. He's always had a bit of banter. Steve Evans was not banter. He was just an angry Scottish man. Don't get me wrong, I love Warnock. I really genuinely... I think he's such a proper...
Is he on the list, Vic, or what? What are we doing here?
No, he's not on the list. Do you know what? I've met him a few times. Genuine story. I was once driving up to the university roundabout up near Broomhill, and there was this guy in front of me, and I used to have an owl number plate on my car, and an owl thingy hanging from my wing mirror thing, and whatever else. And there was this guy in front of me sticking up fingers and like waving and all sorts. So I thought, what the hell is this? I don't know who it is. And from behind, Eddie, James, Fudge, you'll agree, it looked like my dad. I thought, who the hell is this guy? Like, why is he staring at me? Just this, like, grey-haired, middle-aged bloke. Like, what are you doing? And when he turned the corner, it was Neil Warnock. And I thought, do you know what? There aren't many managers that would do that at seeing a rival's, like, badge in a window. And he was all up for it. It was all a bit of a joke. And whenever he used to go to the hairdressers, it was all a bit of a joke. And he was a proper... character. Steve Evans, not a character, just an arsehole.
Can we get that as a title of the show?
Just say goodbye to Steve Evans. Bye.
I'd like to nominate a little bit early my tweet of the week, which came from Jamie Hall. That's Jamie Hall 7891 over there on Twitter, which says, and I won't do the expletive version of it. It says, you can see that Steve Evans has got a new job already in the SWFC shop, and he's put a picture of his receipt on there, and the vendor at the SWFC shop was a Mr. S. Evans. So he's found employment already selling our t-shirts.
Are you sure they're not our old t-shirts that he's just like regurgitated?
And change the stripes the other way around. Right. Yeah. So let's crack on. Yes, I'm going to miss Steve, but goodbye. Right then, ladies and gents. So let's get all that behind us and let's crack on and have a little nosy at the Preston game, shall we? Of course, we've got a few ex-Wednesday type folks down there, and it's going to be an interesting one, this one.
Yeah, it's the return of Stevie May. I think we've looked at 9-4 to score on Saturday, something like that. It worries me this because it's one of those things. It always happens, doesn't it? Our ex-players come back and they always score. It's nailed on that it's going to happen. Look, this is the banana skin. I think we've 3 games that we've won. You look at this and think Preston in the bottom 3. It should be an easy 3 points. We're going to go into it with lots of confidence. I hope that Carlos gets the team talk right because he needs to make the players realise we've still got to go out and win this game. I think it's more than winnable. I think we can go out there if we play the way we have for certainly the first half at Brentford and for the 2 games before then we've got a really good chance of getting the points out of it. So yeah, roll on Saturday.
To build on where we've got to the last 4 games, it's a must-win, isn't it? You know, we've done well against good teams. We've done well in the cup competitions. What we need to do is really kick on now. It's a statement of intent, this game. A good victory is what's expected, and that's what we should probably get.
I agree with you. I think that the Wednesday fans will, anything less than a 2-3-0, a comprehensive routing, I mean, yeah. Just as long as we're on top for it, I think the Wednesday fans may start to rebel if we don't beat these comfortably. And no disrespect to Preston, because back in our League One days, we used to have some proper tear-ups with them because they've been there and thereabouts, just like MK Dons were before they actually finally got promoted. So I think we need this to put our fans at rest, because let's say our last few victories, with the exception of ironically Newcastle, they've not been comprehensive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think I'm not going to lie. I would still take a 1-0 win against Preston, because I think at this point of the season, what matters is we go into the international break in the top half of the table on the back of 4 consecutive wins, and Carlos has that time to really kind of do what he needs to do with his players. The last time we went into an international break, we didn't even know really what our first choice 11 was. I think allowing for his rotation, we kind of know what that first choice 11 is now. If we can go into the international break with 4 wins in a row in the bag, and then he's got time to really spend with the team and really work on those little bits that have been letting us down a bit. It almost, to me, it doesn't really matter how we get that win on Saturday.
Well, I mean, I think it is a sort of a must-win game, if you like, on there. But I think Eddie's quite right. We've got the momentum going in there, and we could really do with cracking on and belting it on. Of course, do you think we're going to see Kirkland appear? And I'm sure he'll get a fantastic reception from the Wednesdayites if he does.
Well, Chris Kirkland's only been on the bench a lot for Preston, which I think is a bit of a shame, because I still believe that at Championship level he is a top class keeper, and it's only by some sheer miracle that we managed to pick up Kieran Westwood for next to Sodall is the only reason he's still not in a Wednesday shirt. But like you say, he's still a Wednesday legend, and he's still I definitely applaud him.
Yeah, I think it'd be a very evil, nasty, mean Wednesday fan that didn't. Not there for us. Right, so dare I ask for score predictions?
I'll let you go first, James.
I actually think, even though I said that I'll take a scrappy win, I think that we'll be quite comfortable in it. I'm going to go 2-0.
I'm going to go David Garrido 2, James Marriott 1.
And what biscuits are you having with that?
Honestly, I think bourbons are the only way to do it.
Controversial choice. I mean, I'm a fan of the old school. I think it's custard creams against those pink wafers. I'm sorry, what we're talking about? We were talking about football, weren't we? I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0 to the Owls. Lord H, is it worth us asking what your prediction is?
7-0, oh boy, absolutely. It's going to be 7-0, and one day I'll be right and you'll all be very, very sad. The Wednesday Week is proud to be associated with Cavendish Cancer Care. Cavendish is a Sheffield charity dedicated to improving the quality of life for people living with cancer. No one should face cancer alone, so Cavendish provides emotional support through counselling and complementary therapies. The services they provide are free of charge and are funded through donations. If you can help or would like to find out more information, you can go to www.cavcare.org.uk. That's CAVCARE.org.uk. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, that'll just about bring us to an end of this week's festivities. We seem to have lost Victoria at some point, so I'm sure if she was here, she'd say something along the lines of, "Bye, everybody," and we can get her over there on Twitter and Facebook and all the normal places.
Well, hang on, Lord H, I think I've just heard her. Was that you doing an impression? That was uncanny.
I tell you, oh boy, honestly, if my lording profession ever comes to an end, I can just go straight into being a Victoria tribute act. Fudge, it's an absolute pleasure to have you back, oh boy. If people want to find your wonderful internet nonsense, where can we do that?
I'm available at www.james'sotherbits.com. No, I'm available on Twitter. It's @DanFudge. Get involved, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you will after me saying that I don't mind Steve Evans and Neil Warnock today.
That's going to go down very well. James, oh boy, where can we find you over there on the Twitterage?
Yeah, if people want to hear my musings, I'm on Twitter @James Marriott, or otherwise found on David Garrido's voicemail.
Eduardo, where the hell can we get you?
As always, at Sausage Arms on Twitter. Follow me. I will always spend time talking to you. And in the case of Blades fans who've been tweeting me tonight, abusing you, it's Chris Travis Day on Twitter today, because Chris, despite being one of the greatest wrestlers of all time and one of the greatest cancer fighters of all time, has had to announce his retirement. He has been an absolute star in the world of wrestling. He's a Wednesday fan, and he will be sorely missed. And I would love to get him on the show, because he's probably just as exciting as Garrido, and he could probably punch Marriott for getting so drunk in his presence. So, big Chris Travis, at Sausage Arms on Twitter. Sorry for going on that little rant, but big him up. Hashtag Chris Travis Day.
Of course, you can get all of me over there on the Twitter at Lord H. That's L0RD_H. You can get all of the podcasts on Twitter too at TWWcast. Of course, we're over there on Facebook as well. We've had a lot of interest over there on Facebook this week. So please, by all means, get in contact. Of course, please, when you are over there on the iTunes page, please do leave us a little bit of a nice little 5-star review. Help to spread the word. And please do like us on Facebook and all the usual things too. It's been an absolute pleasure as always, ladies and gents. Thanks ever so much for joining us, and we shall see you real soon.
Boop. David, it's James again. I think I'm in DC Cook's car park, David. If you know where it is, can you come and give me a lift? Because I really know how to get home now. Yeah, you're a sound bloke, you. I really like you. Come and pick me up, David. We'll go to the pub again. We'll have some more drinks. All right, ring me. Love you. Bye.
There's a chance here. A great save.